welcome to Guerasworld World. I've made one video, I'll link it below, about my mental health and my depression, my anxiety. I've been wanting to make an update to that video because I feel like I've come like a really long way. Part of the process is for me like being more open with people because there's so many people who feel the same way or similar that I do, and there's no point for us to all like keep it secret, because how can we address it and fix it if we don't talk about it? Things you don't say to somebody who's depressed. So I can't speak for everybody who's depressed, but I can speak for myself, and maybe somebody could relate to this. It's just a lot of things that people tell me and they mean well, but they don't realize they're being sympathetic and not empathetic. Those things that they're saying to me, even though they mean them in a healing way, they don't benefit me and they're like not productive. So I wrote a few things down. If I think of anything else, I'll definitely just share it with you. One thing that people say that feels so minimizing is people are so much worse off than you. If you're in a frustration or worry about a certain situation, maybe it's like more minor than you may feel like it is. You wouldn't know because that's just your perception. People will just tell you, oh, like other people have it worse, like you should be fortunate for your situation. Everybody should be fortunate in their situation. To be told that in your low moment, it's not a nice thing to hear, and it can be triggering. One that I got recently that I feel like is just kind of like a misunderstanding, I feel, is you need more meaning in your life. In my life at least, and I can't speak for everybody, I have meaning. Like I have family and friends and beautiful animals that I care about, and a great job and great coworkers. I'm in a really fortunate situation in a lot of aspects, so I do have meaning in my life. I haven't always felt that way. I know that inevitably, intermittently, I may feel like I don't have meaning. In this moment, like I really do feel like I have it. For somebody to assume that I don't, that's like a little presumptuous. I just hope that you can help people find the meaning in their life, not merely just say you need meaning in your life, because that can make you kind of wonder like, wait, what am I lacking that people seem to think I don't have a meaning in my life? One thing that people have always kind of told me, or like not always in these exact words, but that like life is gonna get worse, like it's only gonna get worse. That could be true, but that's not true in terms of the big picture. Like I feel like in certain aspects, yeah, like aging, for example, like aging always gets worse. It's inevitable and you can't stop it. But in terms of like stability, like that's something that can improve in the future. That's one of those things I don't want to hear. Like when I'm in a low moment, I don't want to hear that like things are only going to get worse, because then like for somebody like me who is depressed and sometimes is subject to suicidal thoughts, to think that life is only going to get worse, and like worse than it is right now or than it has been, that's an overwhelming thought that does trigger suicidal thoughts. And not in the sense that I feel like so sad, but just like an exhaustion at the idea that I'll have to keep going through the same things and worse than I have been. Another thing I don't want to hear. This one is kind of like broad. They're all pretty broad, but I have like examples for these things. When people say, oh, you should be doing this, and they have like this idea of what you should be doing right now, or what you should be doing in the near future or the long term. It's just in the big realm of like unsolicited advice, and that's such a problem. Maybe I do it too. I don't think I do. To just decide somebody needs your advice and you're just gonna throw it at them, that it's gonna magically fit with them and be the right way for them to proceed. Everybody has their own instincts that it's right for them, and only I am gonna know like what's right for me and when to like pursue it. It's frustrating to be given suggestions when I wasn't asking, because then it makes me less likely to ask in the future. We end up where we want to. We don't always end up where we need to be. Nobody can know where you need to be besides yourself. One thing that I get told a lot as a depressed person that kind of bothers me, and it's frustrating to me, it's discouraging to me, is when people tell me, oh, like, you're making me worry, or like, I'm worried about you. I guess it's nice for people to show concern to me, like if they tell me they're worried about me. When people put it on the spin like, you're making me worry about you, that's like shifting blame to me, that like because of my actions or my feelings or thoughts or beliefs that it's my fault that you're worried. It doesn't seem like it's exactly my problem. And especially what's frustrating about this one is that if I'm really candid and really open and really honest about how I feel, then people tend to tell me that's concerning or you're making me worried. That's frustrating to me because I want to be able to be open and honest with people about how I feel and not like shamed that I'm being a burden on somebody else by expressing how I feel. Honesty should always be rewarded, and a lot of the times it's not. I've had people cut ties with me because I was more honest than they wanted to hear, which is upsetting. One that I got a lot in the last few years, and I haven't got it so much lately, but it's fresh in my mind, is like when people say like, don't you feel bad about blah 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 like situation. I won't get into like specifics because everybody obviously has a different situation. A lot of the situations that people were asking about like this were personal to me. It did make me feel really bad because like they say, oh, don't you feel bad about blah blah blah, and it's like, of course I do. If I could make it right, I would. It's frustrating that like you're like reminding me that I should feel bad when I already feel so horribly bad, and more than you could ever understand about those situations. It's just something that I would never say to somebody, whether they were stable or not. It's just along the lines of like shaming people for maybe their mistakes or their poor choices. So one I got recently was, only one who can help you is yourself. On the surface level, like that's true. At the end of the day, it's like, who's going to like brush your teeth, who's going to brush your hair, like who is going to dress you, who's going to get you to work, you know, it's you. You're responsible for all these different tasks. I accept that. To be reminded of that in a low moment, it's hard. Julie wants to play right now. On the surface level, that's like acceptable, of course, but like that's just one of those things you don't say to somebody in like a low moment. Julius is chewing his bone in the background. So when I'm in a situation where I feel really sad, really alone, really anxious, I want to feel like I have a support system of people I can count on that can help me and guide me to the things that I need. Like to be told the only one who can help you is yourself, like I don't feel like that's true, because I feel like I have so many family and friends around me that give me really great advice and give me like mechanisms to where I can deal with certain things. And to just think that I only have myself, that's so scary to me because I don't have any of the answers. I believe in myself, but I can learn more from other people than I can from myself. But I want to feel like my sense of community, and I feel like that's where I differ so much from like the culture around me. Like it's individualistic American culture. I need more of like a collective around me to help me see other ways to do things and just learn and grow. Really close to the you should be doing blank is that you need to change blank. If you're trying to like yourself and love yourself and accept yourself for who you are, it's hard to hear that like you need to change certain things. It's hard to grow and accept yourself like wholly, like with all your flaws and all your bad habits and like traumas and everything. It's hard to be told to change it. You never ask for that input. Usually when you need to change something in your life, you really deep down you know, and it doesn't always make it simple to do so. Just these reminders are like so denigrating. I'm gonna save this other one for last. I'm gonna flip them around. Another really similar one to the one I just talked about. If you do blank, you'll feel better about yourself. Sometimes people have really great suggestions of things that you can do like to fill your time like meaningfully, but like Other times it's like, especially this time of year in the holidays, like we're almost to Christmas, it's so stressful and I feel like there's never any free time. Like it's a really lucky moment that like I have this time to film this video, and this is actually something that I enjoy doing that like fills my time and like makes me feel good about myself. Like when I go on my channel and see all these dozens of videos that I've made over the years, like of all these cool experiences that I've had and like the great people that have been in my life, like that makes me feel great about myself. So it's hard for like people to say like, oh, if you'll do this you'll feel better about yourself, because it's like, you don't know how I feel about myself. I feel great about myself, but it just doesn't reflect in the things that I do in my society. Like it doesn't match up to like what a confident, well-rounded person should be doing. Like I think people's idea of like a perfect person is so far from like who I am, and so people think that because I'm not like this thing that I must feel bad about myself, which I don't. I know I'm a smart and funny person. I don't feel lacking there, and I feel like I'm doing all the things that I want to do, that I have time for. Nobody knows what like I should do with my time better than I do. I have some friends that give me good suggestions and help me improve and develop myself and my skills and my character. All the activities and things that I do, it's like kind of full up. Like I'm not taking anything new on. I'm just trying to develop what I've already started. I don't know, these are all just things that frustrate me to be told and don't make me feel better. I don't know if these things were intended to like lift me up, and I appreciate the sentiments to those people who have told me such things. I know your heart was in the right place. While I'm working on the things that I need to work on, maybe you should work on like keeping to yourself more and like waiting until people really solicit your advice before you give it. I know like I will work on that same. I mean, I don't have the problem as bad. I have done it before, so like none of us are really innocent in that sense. To give an overall update of like my mental health, over the whole year 2018, it's been like a really crazy year for me. So I've worked like several different places. The initial job I was at, Ulta, I don't know if you maybe seen the video of me talking about why I left. I'll link that down below. I've worked several different places since then, and just like trying to find the right fit, because everything just was driving me nuts. I wasn't in a mentally stable place to where I could function in the workplace properly. Like I would find myself having a panic attack like during my shift and like needing to leave, which is like costing me like monetarily and has led to a lot of like financial problems for me this year. I've been struggling really hard in that sense, and my credit score dropped like so much this summer. Like I don't even want to say, because you'll have nightmares if you hear the number. I know I do. That's the thing though, is like when you survive suicidal thoughts, like those type of silly things like a credit score, like to me that didn't matter in those moments, and I find it funny now that like I let it go so badly, and I'm always building it. Like I was building it before that crisis happened, and I'm still continuing to build it. I love where I work. I might have talked about it in another video since my last mental health update, but I find like passion in what I do, and I find I'm always learning something, and I find that I'm good at what I do, and I don't want to do anything else. And I think a lot of people think because I work part-time or because I'm not in a leadership position that things are meaningless for me, or that I'm like at a brick wall, or like they're upset because I'm not using my degree, which I find that I use the skills that I earned in my degree like every day, whether I'm at work or not. And so it's like not really for other people to decide what I do with what I've earned and like how I proceed. And I feel like these choices are right for me in this moment. I'm trying to pick up the pieces of my finances, and hopefully I can embark on a health journey. I have gained like a lot of weight this year. I think I've gained probably like 20 pounds since the beginning of the year. I remember being 147 for like a really long time. At one point I weighed myself and I was like 160. And that's really not like a heavy weight, being that I'm like 5'1.5". Like that's technically overweight for me. It wasn't just my weight that was the problem. It was like my health and my fitness like slacking. In the new year, of course everybody wants to do it in the new year, but I really do want to work on that in the new year after I've got like my finances taken care of. So maybe I can get like a gym membership maybe. I don't know. I'm scared of gyms memberships because they're a scam. But I'm a lot more stable. I'm a lot happier. I can't say I'm not depressed because that's always, I think, gonna be a part of me. So I was actually gonna say one of the things that you shouldn't say to a depressed person is you should be on medication. Some people have like suggested that to me on like a spectrum of ways. Like some people were really delicate and were like, oh, like if you ever see a psychiatrist, you might want to look into like an antidepressant because it's clear that I have like clinical, like what is it called, chronic depression. Like I don't know, I'm not technically diagnosed, but it's pretty evident that like something's messed up with me. It's not even like messed up, it's just, I don't know, like it's just a condition. I don't know what to say because like I don't want to like put a stigma on it because it's like affects like so many people that like we all just like deal with something or another. There's nothing really wrong with it. We just have to like work through it. I've had like people tell me, oh, like you need meds or whatever, like well, we're like in an argument or something stupid, and then there's, you know, people who are like, you should be on medication like in a serious way, but like it just seems like that's a lot for somebody to decide for somebody else. And for me personally, like I really don't believe in that for myself. Like I've seen some people have really poor effects from it, like, you know, even more suicidal thoughts than they had to begin with, which is really scary. And it's not to say that I would react the same way to it. It could be really great for me, but I just am not in a place where that's like really a good option. I'm slowly like getting a wavelength back of like long-term functioning, because this summer I have the type of depression where I wouldn't want to get out of bed at all. Like I wouldn't want to do anything productive at all, like not work, not like clean, not cook, not nothing. And I wouldn't even want to do the things that would make me happy. I was just in such a rut, and it was just like felt so hopeless, and I didn't think like I was gonna survive it. I didn't even want to plan for anything in the future, and I still struggle with that. I am almost 26, and I'm not going to be able to have insurance besides like if I got a job that gave me insurance. I can't afford it on my own, and I'm no longer going to be able to be on my mom's. I wasn't on my mom's for medical, but just only dental, because having braces, like you kind of have to have a dentist to make sure your teeth are like doing okay during your treatment, and that's great, and we've done that. But now I'm going to be 26 and I don't have that option anymore. I feel like I'm finally getting onto a good chemical balance. I just don't believe like that I'm gonna find the right pill, and that like I have like a month to wait for it to kick in, and then like if it's wrong, and like to deal with the aftermath of that, and then like start over with something else. That seems like totally unappealing to me. I don't know if I would be like alive next month. Like why am I gonna be messing with my levels and like make like, instead of like, if this is where I'm normal and then I like take a pill, like I'm gonna be like here, and then I'm gonna need to be here from now on, like, and then if I'm here it's gonna feel like here. Like I don't get it. Like come on, it doesn't make sense to me. And then somebody that maybe doesn't even take them themselves, like why are they recommending that? They're like not a doctor. Don't be recommending like medications to people. Like that's so American. I always love and accept advice, but I can see right through the things that are evident to me about things that you just like shouldn't say to people like who are depressed. Now you know those things. This is all just my opinion. Take it for what you will. Like you don't have to take my advice. How ironic is that like this whole video about like how I hate advice is like advice that I'm giving to you guys. I'm like so happy like right now. I'm really stressed, oh my god, like, mini life update for this end part for these people who are the real ones who are watching to the end. My mom had a stroke at the beginning of December, and even before that I was like struggling, you know, just with my anxiety about like being worried about the future and worried about like if I'm gonna get like on track again. And then when that happened, like, everything got so much worse, but we're just trying to pick up the pieces and like keep it moving. So that's all I guess I want to talk about. Julie is going to town on his bones, so sorry for all this ruckus. He is crazy. Make sure to leave a like on this video if it helped you in any way, if you like agreed with any of it, you relate to any of it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. It's called Guerasworld. I'm Wera. If this helped you, share this with your friends. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, all at Girl with the Legs. So make today count. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Life is so precious. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.